Hey, good morning, everybody. Don LaChance here. My voice is abnormally deep this morning. I don't know, there was a tickle in my throat and felt like I was swallowing razor blades, but nothing else, no other symptoms. I'm feeling great. And I've been in deep thought this morning. I read an article on Startup Grind by Beth Comstock this morning, and she used a term in there that really got me thinking. And the term is that we as people are in a constant state of becomingness. And, I titled this here, Don't Wait for the Sum of Your Life to Arrive, because then it's too late. And I want to tie it into that statement of being in this state of constant becomingness, because as people, that's really what we live. And the sum of our lives, really, that mathematical equation, because when you think about it, our lives are made up of things that, are either added to our lives, things that are subtracted from our lives, things that multiply, things that divide, and then at the end of our time, that's when the great equal sign gets put in. And I think often as people, we're waiting to reach that state of arrival, like we've arrived, we're good enough, we're there, we have what it is we need. More importantly, we think we have what it is that others may need in order to really put ourselves out there. And as many of you know, I've been studying vulnerability, more importantly, the power found in vulnerability over the last while, as well as authenticity and the courage, through people like Brené Brown and Philip McKernan, and, Kyle Cease, who teaches us to really surrender and live in the actual moment. And, if you think about this for half a second, really, and just think of some of the people that you admire. And when you do that, you don't necessarily admire them because of where they're at in that moment. You admire them because of the story attached to them, because of the things that they've overcome, because of the things that they've dealt with. And that takes a degree of courage to be able to step into that and show up authentically, because it's in that state of becomingness that we're really empowered to transition and move through life to be all that we can be. But we have to recognize that, it's our story. And I don't think most people realize that. You don't have to be perfect to make a difference. You don't have to be ready. In fact, doing things when you're not ready is often the arena that we learn the biggest lessons in. And, when I think about what takes place in my life, when I'm postured up and I'm trying to be this certain way so that people will follow, or people will, I don't know, like people will be impacted by it, and it's never in that moment. It's in my moments of brokenness, in my moments of weakness, where people feel that there's an ability for them to rally round, to be part of something, to help build. And they're building it with real people. They're building it with uncommon ground. We come at a lot of things and we want to be postured up and we want to be this and we want to be that. And I don't think that's the secret. I don't think that's the answer. It's the willingness to be imperfect. I don't know. I'd love to get some feedback from people on this. I'm one person who's out there trying to share the significance of authenticity. I shouldn't say I'm alone in that field. There are many great minds who have really kind of studied it deeply and understand how powerful that really is. And we're in these attraction marketing realms or environments that we put ourselves into, and we feel that we've got to be these perfect beings in order to be able to attract people, and that's not how it works at all. It's in being real. It's in being that broken person. That's what levels the playing field for people. That's what creates the space for people to feel comfortable enough to join in, to maybe admit some of their own flaws. And we get to grow together that way, and that's an awesome friggin' experience. That's happened to me on a number of occasions. So when I talk about that, like being in this perfect or this state of becomingness, the only time that you can ever be defined really is once you're no longer here, because now they can sum up everything, and that's the legacy you leave. Those are the things. Now you can be defined. Now your life has boundaries. Up until that point, there are no real boundaries, because again, go back to the example and think about some of the people you admire. It's not because of where they are right now. It's because of the struggles, the things that they've conquered, the things that they've come through, the evolving that's taken place in their life. But more importantly, you see the potential in where they can get to. Now, stop looking at them and start looking at yourself. Have the courage to do that. And just think, you might not have all of the answers, but in putting it out there, there'll be people who show up who can help provide you with some of the answers that you're looking for. They don't always surface in self because we're limited, right, in our ability to stretch, and we don't want to be uncomfortable. It's not a good feeling. But when you really begin to understand it, it's the greatest feeling in the world, and that is true evolving. That's getting comfortable with who you really are, and that's what begins to attract the tribe that you are meant to affect, the people that you are meant to be connected to. And some will come and some will go, and it's all good. I've done a couple of lives, and I've talked about my great deal on surrendering, and I have to tell you, the last week I've had this incredible battle. I've been an actual asshole on so many fronts. Pardon my language, but it's true. It's just a perfect word. It's one that everybody will be able to really kind of connect to and understand, because when we act that way, we're not nice to be around, and we don't like being that way, and we don't want to be around ourselves, and that serves absolutely no one. So it's been this friggin' battle for me to disconnect from that connection. And I just want to fess up. It's been like a horrible week. Just so much on the go, and trying to manage it, trying to make it all okay, is the worst thing I could have been doing. It's all there. It's all happening. I can't control it. I really can't. So why am I battling all this again? It's to be in that place of perfection, to be in that place where I've arrived. People want to follow me because I'm great. People don't want to follow you because you're great. People want to follow you because you're willing to fight through things that are not working in your life. You're willing to step up and say, no, it's not all good. But that doesn't define you. That's simply a time and space that allows you to move forward in a different direction, maybe. I heard the whiz Richard Wilkins talk about something where he tells his friends that 2 miles from where he actually lives is absolute perfection. It's always sunny and it never rains. And people say, what are you talking about? There's no such place that's always sunny and never rains. And he said, yes, there is, and it's 2 miles from my place. And really what he was sharing with people was the fact that it's straight up. 2 miles up, above the clouds, the sun is always out. It never rains. It never rains. So people are always looking for what kind of distance they need to travel. And it's not the distance necessarily. It's never about the distance. It's about the direction you take. And often that's the direction from here to your heart, where all the resistance lies. It's short. It's 13 inches in the average human body. But it's a trip that none of us make because we never head in that direction. See, it's not long. It's got nothing to do with distance, yet we wrestle on that front and we fight on that front constantly. Why? Because we want to be perfect so that people look up to us. People are going to look up to you when you're real. That's when they're going to look up to you. Actually, they'll look right at you. And that's where the eye-to-eye contact comes into play. Create that space for people. Anyways, I just had to share this today because her quote on this we're in a constant state of becomingness is something that has really kind of touched me in a deep place. And I admire that. I love when people make me think. I really do. Have a great day, folks, unless you have other plans.